Here we are, and it's time for the Austin and the Texas scenes to take over Formula 1. It's the United States Grand Prix, and we're here for practice 1 here on a late evening here in the UK and a lovely afternoon in Texas. The track we race on is the Circuit of the Americas, 3 sectors as per usual, 56 laps come race day, a track distance of 5.5 kilometers, and the elevation change 30.9 meters, mainly as you go into turn 1, but it can fluctuate throughout the lap. Tyres Pirelli have bought this weekend the C4 soft tyre, the C3 medium tyre, and we skip a compound for the C1 harder tyre. The harder tyre, the longer lasting, but is averaging 2 more seconds than the soft tyre per lap. We'll have to see what that's like come race day, but knowing it's a sprint weekend, this is the only practice session. It's deemed practice 1. Get rid of the 1 because it's the only one. It's a very, very lovely weekend. The weather partly cloudy, track temp 39 degrees, humidity 55%, wind going 8.6 kilometers to the east. And welcome on FT Sport to our live timing coverage of the United States Grand Prix. We'll have every session live from this weekend on FT Sport. And that starts off with practice. But let's tell you what it is coming up. So while we still have that time, let's tell you what's coming up on FT Sport. 6:15 for sprint practice, which is starting now. Sprint quali later on. And then qualifying tomorrow is at 9:55. The race at 7:45. The sprint starts at 6 tomorrow. 2 NFL games. We had one last night, the Bengals versus Steelers, great game. And 49ers versus Falcons, that's Monday from 1. Ice hockey action later tonight, considered a Saturday, 2 a.m. Puck drop for Mammoth versus Sharks. Straight after this, it's over to Riverside Stadium for Middlesbrough versus Ipswich, kick-off at 8. And then Premier League coverage on Monday as West Ham take on Brentford. And then coming soon, starting on Tuesday, the NBA regular season. So we are ready to go then for FP1. And the big news coming into this race, Mercedes, Russell and Antonelli will continue as the Mercedes F1 team drivers line up into the 2026 season. That was after a lot of contract negotiations from both sides. So we'll have to see what that's like. Oscar Piastri comes into this weekend, the championship leader. He's first, his teammate second, but in the Constructors' Championship, McLaren Mercedes, as they're more formerly known now as McLaren, have won the Constructors' Championship, 650 points they're currently on now. They can get some more in the sprint race and in the main race this weekend. We see Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari as the car's now lining up down the pit lane, and like we said, we'll have live coverage of this free practice from the United States Grand Prix, and then straight away we'll be over to EFL Championship action, so don't miss it. That's set to be a very interesting one. McLaren of Oscar Piastri has just skipped the queue. I think he'll go for a practice start. So we've got an hour on the clock, and the hour ticks down starting from now. And we see cars coming out. Max Verstappen, the first car out onto the track. And he's third in the Drivers' Championship, 273 points for him. Still Lando Norris in the garage. Bear in mind, this is the only practice session of the race weekend, they'll want to make good use out of it. All the drivers that have gone out so far are on the hard tyre, which is very interesting to see. Lando Norris will also be going out on the hard tyre as we see the tyre blankets come off. And it's well worth noticing, although you can't see it, there is some special liveries for this weekend. And let's go through some of them. I'll try and describe what they look like for some of you. If not, maybe just search it up and you can have a look. But we've got an Alpine special livery. They have more pink writing on the side of their car, including a yellow stripe on the back. So a bit more colour splashing, you could say. Then the Aston Martin, the yellow just pops out a lot more. And they've also got some sort of NASCAR font as their driver number. And the Williams, they've gone white at some spots with the blue. It's a very interesting one, that one. The McLaren, they've really done the same as the Monaco livery, except it's all a bit different with different sponsors and all that. We are just looking at the McLaren of Lando Norris doing a practice start. And we're stopped for a good 30 seconds there, so maybe a bit of concern was starting to be shown. Currently second in the Drivers' Championship, 314 points. He was the last car onto the track, and here's how you can follow along. We've got all the live timing for you on the left-hand side of the screen. That track you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen in the top corner, that's the live track map, and that shows you where drivers are on the track. And then in the left bottom corner, we've got AI radio transcriptions. That tells you what the drivers are saying on the radio. Very brief summary, which is very good because we can see all of them at the same time. Currently right now, close on track, are Verstappen and Norris. Norris came out ahead of Verstappen, but it looks like Norris will let Verstappen go, which he does as they go into turn 11 now. Back to more liveries. The Racing Bull has gone for a more, it's white, but it's also got a bit of blue and yellow, or black and yellow flame, or camouflage pattern. Interesting stuff. And then the Haas, it's an American team, they're obviously going to go for a special livery. They've got the stars on, and I say it looks good. The best car, I think, well, I don't want to say what the best livery is, because there's not really a great livery, so I'll find out as the weekend goes on. 56 minutes and a half left to go, and we've not really had any laps on the board yet. We should get a few, hopefully soon. Alonso and Stroll are still in the pit lane. The Aston Martins, they are the only cars that are in the pit lane, but they did come out, and they went out on the medium tyres. And just as I say that, Alonso has left the pit lane. So we're getting some times in now. Lawson goes in top with a 38.7. Verstappen setting a 38.797. And Behrman put a time 39.64, which is replaced by his teammate. Ocon with a 39.5, and then Tsunoda shoots up into third, 39.3 for him. Colapinto sets a 140.2. Sainz goes fastest with a 137.4 as they all start to come across the line. Then there'll be a gap because Hamilton will be next. But we'll look at Russell. And I believe Russell stopped on your track map. So it's not Hamilton. Oh no, Hamilton's already come. It says Russell's stuck in the middle of a track. So forget Russell. Russell goes second fastest though with a 138.092. So you've got 9 cars over time, make that 10. There's Hamilton 40.011, sorry. There was an issue with Russell's transponder in Bahrain, I think you got to remember. But we'll have to find out because his car is the only car that is stopped on the track map. I will check if it's stopped on the actual F1 app very quickly as we see the Aston Martin come around the third sector, which is a very technical part of the track. And it's interesting because there's some corners. Yeah, Russell's stuck on the track on the F1 app, so that's the same issue. Russell's just in the middle of the circuit, but don't mind him because his transponder must be broken again. We've just done 5 minutes in this session. Leclerc is in the pit lane, but he has just exited it at this moment. Hadjar sets a time, it's a 56.9, so definitely not his fastest lap, probably doing a warm-up lap. We'll go on board Fernando Alonso's front wing here as he goes into turn 1, and a little bit wide there for Alonso. It's hard to control on the exit of some of these corners because the car wants to go one way when you want it to go another. I did a few laps on the simulator this week, and it's great to drive the circuit to feel what the drivers go through. As Alonso comes through turn 8, you get that inside curb. It kind of turns you, spins you a little bit. Not much, but you have to really grasp that inside curb. You don't want to do that. Turn 11, it was a 400 degrees turn for me. Maybe that's why the tyres wear was going down incredibly. But interesting stuff. Alonso, few cars of traffic down the straight into turn 12 on the brakes. Exit there's interesting, but it's not the worst. Turn 13, it's a bit of a lift in the middle of the corner when you come back on the power, but come qualifying they'll try and make that as flat out as possible. I don't want to surprise anyone yet, but Hamilton is fastest. Alonso not fastest sector 1, personal best sector 1, personal best sector 2, as we go now around turn 19. Now they say brake a little bit there, although you can get away with just a little lift off. Round turn 20 and across the line, where will this put Alonso? It puts him up into 7th, 9/10 off Hamilton, who currently leads by 6/10 over Piastri. Although, the good thing is all drivers have set a lap in this session, even if it's not being counted, for example, because of the 110% rule, where times will get disallowed if they're not within that 110%. Extra 10% they allow the drivers from the fastest time. Sainz coming around the final sector now, and he'll confound the fast sweeping corners of turn 16, 17 and 18, which is all really just one corner. Turn 19, and you can see he uses a bit of brake there, probably about a quarter of the brake, and then it's a little bit of a lift onto the throttle round the final corner of 20, and Sainz goes fastest, 36.1. Verstappen also went fastest, so did Tsunoda, so it's currently top 3 Sainz, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Hamilton 5/10 off that. Ocon's gone up into 5th. Charles Leclerc in 20th. He's not set a time that's representative of this session yet, of course, not following that 110% rule. This will definitely follow it. Round sector 2 now, 3/10 off Carlos Sainz's best time. Now, as we go round turn 14 into 15, and then you want to get a bit of a lift as the car kind of drags you round, and then it's a fast. Don't lift off, brake, just keep your foot on the accelerator. And then into 19, which Charles Leclerc actually missed a lot of the apex, which is okay, and it's probably best too. Round turn 20, a bit wide there, 8/10 off Sainz's time. He goes into 7th to Charles Leclerc with a 36.9. Lawson goes up into 5th. And just like that, 10 minutes of this practice session has gone already. Norris now fastest with a 36.126, just 0.004 seconds quicker than Sainz. But it's Lewis Hamilton who's got the fastest sector 1. We'll have to see. Now sector 2, still a 10th up on Norris, but it's not his personal best through sector 2. It's not an improvement. Hadjar's on the radio. And it says Bottas 2 pushing, Bottas now, then Leclerc 8 seconds. Hadjar says, yeah mate, stop with Bottas mate, there is no Bottas on track. Oh, he thinks, is Hadjar's engineer still thinks Bottas is on the track. And I'm going to try and find out who Hadjar is thinking. I think it's Bortoletto they thought was Bottas. I mean, it's not wrong. The first two letters are BO for both drivers. Hamilton goes up into 4th, a 10th off Norris's best time. But yeah, that's very, very, very... That will be... Oh, there's Bottas. Valtteri Bottas. He's not on the track. He's in the Mercedes garage. He's confused. He's putting his hands up. He's shrugging. Oh, fair play to him. And he's got a seat next season in the Cadillac car, currently serving as a reserve driver for Mercedes if they need it. Hadjar in 14th, and we're on board with him as he goes round turn 14 into 15, and you can go wide or you can cut in a lot more in that corner. But if you cut in, you've got to watch your exit. Forced to take a narrower line through turn 18 because of lap traffic. Hadjar. He went off the track. Did Hadjar went horrendously wide, and I think it was the lap traffic that got in the way. I believe, was it? I think it was Colapinto. It must have been Colapinto that got in the way there of Isaac Hadjar. It was a personal best, but I believe it will be deleted for track limits because obviously he's gone off the track there by a long, long way. Let's look on board with Isaac Hadjar as he came round 19, and it looked like the car just didn't turn, or there was a bump in the middle of the corner on the radio, and he's blaming it on the traffic. And I wouldn't be surprised it was Colapinto, because there was about 5 cars coming into one of the most quickest corners in that whole of Sector 3. Verstappen also going wide at the same corner and picking up a bit of dust. And, he's picking some more dust up there. I think that's in Sector 1 with the S's. First corner of the S's there. See George Russell on an outlap. He's currently 10th in the session. So they're all on the hard tyre. No one's been on any other tyre except from the Aston Martins, and they didn't set a lap time on it, I believe. So interesting stuff there. But Verstappen is the quickest car, a 35.4. And this is interesting. Driver profile George Russell. Height 185 centimetres. Childhood hero Michael Schumacher. Birthplace Kingsley Luque. UK. I love how they've got to include height. I promise you, the only driver they'll include height on, other than George Russell, will be Yuki Tsunoda, who's currently 2nd in the session, 3/10 off of his teammate Max Verstappen, and Red Bull showing some pace here. Hamilton also showing some pace. Leclerc not, though, however. Antonelli not either. I think it's going to be interesting when it comes around to sprint qualifying, because that's our first look at these fastest cars, and then sprint tomorrow will be interesting, and then qualifying. This is really, it doesn't feel like an important session for many fans, because many fans will just say, it's practice. It's the only practice these teams get before the weekend, so expect it to be busy and expect it to be packed, this track, because all the drivers are actually on track right now. That's how busy it is. No one is in the pit lane, as I can see. No, we're on board with George Russell now as we go now into, and you can see there George Russell going into the corner just before that long straight. He's using most of that steering lock on a quali lap when you can you don't have to manage the tyres. That's just and it's a video game move, and you just flick the wheel and the car, it gains some sort of speed. I don't know if it's a glitch, but we'll take it. It gives you some seconds. George Russell sets the fastest Sector 2 of all drivers now, and he's in Sector 3, bit of lap traffic, but it won't get in the way whatsoever. It was the Williams of, I believe, let me just check. Well, I can't really check. No, it was Carlos Sainz, because George Russell, if you look on the map, is stuck with the track, so I believe it's a broken transponder. Round the final corner goes George Russell, crossed the line, lost it a bit in the final sector, 35.5, 1/10 off of Max Verstappen's time, and splits the Red Bulls, as you see the American flag flying high in the sky, and it gives us a chance to look at the car performance from Hungary to Singapore. Red Bull fastest, McLaren down 1, Mercedes down 1, Ferrari staying where they are, Williams up 2 positions, Racing Bulls down 1, Aston Martin down 1, Sauber staying where they are, Haas up 1, and Alpine down 1. They've lost 0.2 seconds, Alpine, since Hungary. McLaren have lost 0.08 seconds since Hungary. Big gain for Williams. Williams have gained 0.24 seconds since Hungary. Racing Bulls 0.19, Aston Martin 0.19, Sauber 0.17 gained, Haas 0.04 seconds gained, Ferrari 0.01 seconds gained, Mercedes 0.07 seconds gained, and Red Bull are the fastest. That's a very interesting graphic, and that comes up mainly every practice session, as we see the observatory here, and we get to zoom in on the Texas State, Austin City. Oh, and Isaac Hadjar went off at the S's there. Didn't decide he wanted to do turn 5 and cut across, and then this was later on in the lap. This was his teammate Liam Lawson. Oh, and the car just porpoised in the middle of the corner. Interesting stuff, and he had to go wide and let his teammate through. In the process, we watch Antonelli now, who's currently in 16th, hopefully can improve as we go round turn 15 with him. This is looking quite quick from an outside view round the fast corners of 16, 17 and 18 into 19 now. That was a lot closer than Leclerc was earlier on in the session to that inside curb. Round turn 20, watch for the exit, cross the line up into 9th with a 36.178. And interesting stuff here. Gasly going up to 14th, 1.115 seconds off Verstappen, as we're on board driver's eye with Lewis Hamilton, sector 1 as we go round we'll go down the straight now. Sector 1 was fastest for Lewis Hamilton. Live speed, incredibly fast as we go into the hard braking zone of turn 12. And fastest sector 2 as well. And this is 6/10 quicker. Then Verstappen, a little bit of a snap there by Hamilton into sector 3 as we see a McLaren of Lando Norris back in the garage. They might be looking at something there. I'm not too sure. I'll find out something in a second. Why we're looking at that McLaren, because surely it's got to be for a reason. And exit round turn 19 looking decently, but it depends on this last sector. Inside curb, watch the exit, lovely exit, and Lewis Hamilton fastest by 5/10. It's a 134.857. Did they increase the power? Did they go on a quali setup? I don't know where he's got that pace from, but keep it coming, Lewis, as he is quickest of this session, his teammate into 8th. So very, very lovely stuff here in Texas. So let's go through all the drivers currently on the leaderboard. Hamilton topping the times from Verstappen, Russell, Tsunoda, Norris quite far down. The first McLaren's teammates even further down. We'll get to him in a second. Sainz the fastest, Williams, Lawson up there in the Racing Bull, Leclerc doing slower than his teammate in 8th. Hulkenberg's in the pit lane, he's in 9th. Antonelli 10th, better than he was during the first half of this session. Not the first bit before where he is now. 11th for Alonso, 12th Hadjar, 13th for Ocon, 14th Albon, 15th Piastri, 16th Stroll, 17th Gasly, 18th Behrman, 19th Colapinto, and 20th Bortoletto. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers in the pit lane right now, and I expect that number to increase as Gasly now goes into it, because it's come to that point in the session where they've got to get ready for another run. And like we said, it's the sole practice session of the weekend, they have got to use this session wisely, because it's not that it's their only bit of practice really. As we've got a red flag on the track, and I'd love to know what it's for. I couldn't tell you because, yeah, no one's sure what it's for. Ocon saying it's not sure either. This is great because I'm watching on Sky Sports F1, and Sky Sports F1 have gone for an ad break. The time will keep on going, which will not be good, especially in practice 1, but we have got a red flag, and I'll find out what it was. And there is debris on the turn 19 curb, which is that really fast corner. It's the second to last corner, so hopefully we get a visual on that. So avoid the curb through 19 is being told for Colapinto. They will all be watching Hamilton's onboard as he came around that corner as well. Last car to take that will be Leclerc. So yeah, that is why we've got a red flag, because we've got debris on the curb at turn 19. So we stop procedures for a few moments, and we're coming up to the halfway point in this practice session, and we'll go through the times again. Hamilton first, Verstappen second, Russell third, 4th Tsunoda, 5th Norris, 6th Sainz, 7th Lawson, 8th Leclerc, 9th Hulkenberg, 10th Antonelli, 11th Alonso, 12th Hadjar, 13th Ocon, 14th Albon, 15th Piastri, 16th Stroll, 17th Gasly, 18th Behrman, 19th Colapinto, and 20th Bortoleto, or as Hadjar's engineer likes to call him, Bottas. So if you're just joining us, we do have a red flag. That's for debris on the turn 19 curb. And let's get some visual on that now, as finally the TV pictures come back, and I'd love to know what it was. Oh, Lance Stroll went wide, and then was there a bit of his car that caused it? Because that's on the exit of 19, not on the inside. We've got green flag again. Yeah, it's the outside. So they've cleared that up. We should be going again very shortly. Oh yeah, it was just on the curb. That's a danger, because loads of drivers run on that. We've got a yellow flag on the final corner now, but that was just probably for some marshal still on the track. So Lance Stroll 16th, but the session is back underway. Just a very temporary stoppage, but all the drivers were coming into the garage anyway. There was only a few cars that were staying out, so it didn't ruin their run plans as much. It could have been worse in terms of disruption, but it wasn't that bad, to say the absolute least. And just a reminder, if you're watching us, we are covering the first practice, well, the only practice of the United States Grand Prix this week, and we've got all sessions live on FT Sport. Session is about to restart, so we'll let you know when that does. It will restart in a matter of 20 seconds, and then straight after this, we will be live with EFL Championship action from the Riverside Stadium. Ipswich are in action there against Middlesbrough, and the visitors of Ipswich saw victory over their rivals Norwich for the first time in 16 years before the break. Now the break has passed. We'll find out what they can do in a matter of moments, but as the green flag comes back out fully and the red flag is fully clear, we are back underway for practice. As we see Carlos Sainz coming out the car. Sainz currently 6th. And a second off the leaders. My question is, why would he be out the car, especially in such a crucial session? Did he think the red flag was going to be longer? Or, oh no, they've got the Williams car up. They've got the Williams car up, so maybe they're doing some changes to that. I would assume so. So, I'm not saying it might be, but it might be it for Carlos Sainz in this practice session. And hopefully, that car's alright to go for sprint qualifying, which is at 10. Our coverage begins at 10:25 ahead of a 10:30 start. Or later on this evening, as we see Max Verstappen coming around the S's now, 5/10 off the leader of Hamilton, who bagged a very impressive time just a few minutes before the red flag came out. We saw that lap in driver's eye. Very interesting stuff there from the 7-time world champions. We see Verstappen go down on the inside of the Aston Martin on the Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli. Oh no, it was the Aston Martin of Alonso. Last 4 races, points gained. Max Verstappen with the most at 86. George Russell with 65. Oscar Piastri with 52. Even with the DNF in Baku. And Lando Norris with 35. But he did DNF, remember, in the Netherlands. So that kind of evened it out. And Lando Norris should have had about 25 points there. But didn't in the end. And that was where Oscar Piastri gained the advantage he currently has in the championship. And no one knew it then, but that could have been the decider in this championship. Mechanical difficulty, and that would have been such a shame for Lando Norris, and it would be such a shame for McLaren, because McLaren are all about making it equal with their papaya rules. I think, and this is a really personal opinion, Oscar's going to show his true colours at some point. The team are going to tell him papaya rules or something, and he's going to not follow it. He's going to do it in the interest of himself. That's what some are predicting, and maybe I'll join that train as well. 32 minutes to go here in FP1 as we're on board, as we watch Verstappen, and in the medium speed corners, Verstappen is 0.24 seconds faster than Norris, and that is mainly turn 8 and 9. Interesting stuff, and Verstappen I don't think will improve on this lap, considering he's 1.646 off of Norris, but we'll watch anyway. What a lap though from Hamilton. Whether the team just gave him more power or something, whatever happened, and it worked. So Hamilton does lead practice from Verstappen, Russell, Tsunoda and Norris on an out lap as we speak, as well as Ocon, Piastri, Stroll and Gasly. As Verstappen goes around turn 12, and we'll see what he's like through sector 2, and he's 3.5 off, so he's definitely not taking this lap seriously. Carlos Sainz is out of the car, and he's got the headset on, so I don't think he'll be taking part, and we'll get on it and we'll find out why in the next few moments, where that car is getting taken to pieces. I remember once we're in sprint qualifying, we're in Parc Ferme, you can't make any more changes. But as soon as I know anything about Carlos Sainz, we will let you know, as Verstappen sets a time that shouldn't really even be allowed on the leaderboard, because it wasn't that quick enough. 39.824, which would, in terms of fastest laps, put him not even on there. Sainz was in the pit lane. Box, do not push. We are looking at potential issue with the gearbox, so it's an issue with the gearbox. Do not push was the instruction. And so that is why. Interesting stuff. But the field are all still on hard tyres. But it won't be long, I believe, until we get some drivers switched to softs and we get some qualifying simulations underway, which will be very interesting, because the tyres, there's a gap in the tyres that they've brought this weekend. The C4, C3, they've not brought a C2, they've brought a C1 hard. So that's interesting. to see. It was only 5 minutes lost under the red flag, but very interesting stuff. Very short stoppage in the end, though, however. And driver profile: Esteban Ocon pets a cat called Iris. Favourite quote, with great power comes great responsibility. When has Esteban Ocon ever quoted that? Wow. With great power comes great responsibility. Wow. And a cat called Iris. It's like an eye, that. Ocon now coming around 19, a bit more cloud cover on the circuit. But that should go away. Round turn 20 with Ocon. And across the line, does he improve? No, he's off in the final sector, 36.299 as Ocon crossed the timing line there. Just a reminder, we'll be straight over to live coverage from the Riverside Stadium for Middlesbrough versus Ipswich straight after the conclusion of the session here in Austin. Bortoletto now, turn 13. And on the exit, turn 15 now. Pulling in on the throttle on the exit in Bortoletto. That should be track limits. He went too wide, I think. To turn 19. We'll keep going as if it wasn't, but I don't think it's going to be a good lap whatsoever. Across the line, 37.171. So, not good. But that's now what we're seeing. The hard tyres are starting to wear out. If they are pushing, it's not working. I think we need to switch to softs. And for the fans' sake, let's get some quality simulations in, because that's what we love to see. Norris now coming around turn 18. We'll go into 19. Exit of the curb. Interesting stuff. You can see Norris bouncing up and down in the cockpit. Turn 20, cross the line. It's a 30. Oh wow, great final sector. A 35.397. That final sector really helped him there. Indeed. Very, very well done. Great stuff there from the Papaya McLaren driver. I think they fixed Russell's transponder. He's not stuck in the middle of the track anymore. He's actually now on the track. Ocon. This was him. Oh, he just he's car didn't even lock. The brake, it stayed at 100% all the way. Interesting, because he locked up, his tyres were still moving. And then you have to dart it out of the gravel. Interesting stuff there. And I wouldn't be surprised, no, Ocon does come into the pit lane. Mario Andretti is in the garage. I think that's the McLaren garage, watching this session. Most laps completed in this session goes to Liam Lawson, who's in 8th, 1.129 seconds off the leader. But I think we're going to see that change very soon. I mean, I hope so. There is only 3 cars that are not out on the track right now, and that's Sainz, Behrman and Ocon. As we see, Ocon's car's in the garage. Liam Lawson, driver profile. Favourite pastime, gaming, okay. If not a driver, I would have been a motocross rider. And pets, 2 cats called George and Tilly. I think George Russell will like that one. Not sure about Tilly, I don't know who will like Tilly. As we see Liam Lawson's partner now, Hannah St. John. It's like sounding like she's a pastor or something. Round turn 4, 5, 6, and then no 7, now 7, as Liam Lawson through sector 1.36 seconds, 1.367 off of Hamilton's best sector time, and that's what mainly all the drivers are doing right now. They're all getting that 1.3 seconds off Hamilton in the first sector. So I think we can make a logical guess. That's where Hamilton's gained most of his time, and that's probably not even wrong in the slightest bit, but I think that's easy to say. 24 minutes left here in FP1, and all the drivers currently on the hard tyre. If Behrman and Ocon were to come out again, I don't think it's worth Behrman and Ocon coming out until the time has come to switch over onto the quali simulations and onto the soft tyres, because no one's doing that yet, but there's going to be a point where it does come to it, and if they go out now on the hard tyres and then all of a sudden everyone starts doing that, then they'll be so unprepared, and that is not a good thing to be during an F1 session at all, being unprepared. No one wants to be unprepared. So, very interesting to see what will happen. 23.17 seconds on the clock. Antonelli now. We're on board with him on a replay. Final corner. Oh, and that was nearly. I believe that's a Williams. Antonelli on the radio. It was the Williams. It was Albon. That was quite bad from Albon, by the way. That's what Antonelli says on the radio. Interesting stuff. And the time has gone down. We've probably just got over a third left of this practice session. And driver profile. Lewis Hamilton, favourite movie Coming to America, favourite food Caribbean, and best advice never give up. That's uplifting, that. That is uplifting. Favourite movie Coming to America. Might have to give that one a watch. We'll have a look for that one. 22 minutes, though, left of this session, and the top 5 is Hamilton, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Piastri, and then following on, Tsunoda, Sainz, Lawson, Leclerc, Hülkenberg, Behrman, Antonelli, Alonso, Hadjar, Ocon, Albon, Stroll, Gasly, Bortoletto, and Colapinto. Behrman on the outlap, he's on the hard tyre. Ocon still in the garage. Sainz, we know, should probably not get back out there because they have a suspected gearbox issue over at Williams, and brought Carlos Sainz in. Immediately Hamilton on the radio. The throttle pedal is really slippery for some reason. That's not what you want on some of these exits here, because the throttle, if it's slippy, the steering in some of these corners is slippy. It's an interesting one. Corners where you can slide at, it's more the exit. But it's interesting. It's interesting where these drivers are finding areas to slide, and interesting stuff as we await the qualifying simulations here, and that will give us roughly the best picture so far of what we look for in terms of pole favourites, qualifying favourites. Interesting stuff, but we'll have to find out as we move on in this session. But we await those qualifying simulations. Track remains clear. We've had one red flag. That was due to debris on the exit curb of turn 19. Interesting stuff. Then Hamilton currently fastest as we go into the final third of this session. 20 minutes on the clock, and just as we said before, as soon as we finish here, we'll be straight over to the Riverside Stadium for EFL Championship action. And that will be Middlesbrough taking on Ipswich. So, interesting stuff there to follow. Alonso on the radio. I've got Hamilton fast and free. Interesting stuff. I think Verstappen had a fail on his battery. Interesting stuff. And then Pierre Gasly's coming in. He's going to do a practice pit stop, and then Gasly, as we say that, is in the pit lane. So, interesting stuff. 18 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Wind here, 7.6 kilometers southeast. Track temperature 44.3 degrees Celsius. It has gone up by about 5 degrees. Air temperature 29.9 degrees Celsius. Humidity 50%, gone down by 5. No rain expected at all this weekend. But we'll get qualifying simulations. I'm very sure Tsunoda, Lawson, well, in the pit lane, Tsunoda, Sainz, Lawson, Alonso, Hadjar, and Gasly. And I think now they'll go on to the soft tyres. If they do come back out again, we've got 17 minutes to go in this session. And if you are enjoying our coverage, make sure you subscribe. For more Formula 1 footage, we have live, all of the sessions are live on FT Sport this weekend, including tonight's sprint quali, and then the sprint tomorrow, and then qualifying, and then the race on Sunday. So interesting stuff awaits. 17 minutes to go. And looking at George Russell has a 7/10 gap to Hamilton, currently in first. More cars in the pit lane, and Verstappen to that Albon as well. Stroll and Gasly, and there I believe Gasly was already in there. Stroll had that George Russell driver profile. First Stroll worked in grandparents' shop. Favourite movie of the gentleman. Pets, a Labrador named Alfie, and a Jack Russell named Ronnie. That's a great name for a Jack Russell, Ronnie. Love to know where he got that name from. Hamilton in the pit lane now, and I think now is the point where we do get those qualifying simulations. So interesting stuff there. I would like to say I apologise if you do see any bad language on the AR radio transcriptions. We can't control what the drivers say. We can't, well, especially us, we're just YouTubers, we can't find them for putting bad words on our stream, but if you do see that, we do apologise in advance, because I've just seen Lewis Hamilton, of all people, say it. Lando Norris still out there, but he will be coming in by the end of this lap, probably, to pit for softs. Antonelli, does Antonelli come in? Yes. Ocon? No. Hulkenberg does. Leclerc, yes. Colapinto, yep, Colapinto will come in as well. Interesting stuff then. Here at Austin, Texas, this track at the Circuit of the Americas actually hosts NASCAR now. They only started hosting it a few years ago. And let's just say the races haven't disappointed there. But interesting stuff. 14 minutes left of practice. here in Austin. As we see the McLaren of Norris get wheeled into the garage, and all the drivers except from Behrman, Ocon and Bortoleto are in the pits bad. Oh no, Behrman's going to go round again. So interesting stuff. And we'll have to see what happens. 13 minutes, 46 seconds to go. So let's go over what's happened so far in this session. We've got the green light. Haas has brought a new floor, side pod and rear corner to the car, in the biggest upgrade we've seen from the team in the last month. 20 cars on track as well. Hamilton set the early pace. Norris then went quickest. Verstappen then went quickest. Hadjar's engineer. Fort Bortoleto was Bottas. Russell went into second. Hamilton went back to the top spot. And then there was a red flag as there was debris at the penultimate corner. Lance Stroll run wide with something coming loose off his car. Very short stoppage, about 5 minutes. Very interesting, as Jenson Button actually noted that the curbs are aggressive when rejoining the track. So very interesting stuff there. Field still on hard tyres, but no one's actually come out yet on the softs. Everyone though decided to complete their runs on the hard tyres, and they swap. We're still waiting them to switch to the softs. Carlos Sainz practice appeared to be over. It probably is now. Called into the pits with what his engineer said might be a gearbox issue, and his car has now been taken apart. And Sainz was running in 6th. Norris went up to 2nd. Ocon went into the gravel after having some sort of issue with his brakes. Albon blocked Antonelli. And Hamilton report a slippy pedal. And then a few minutes ago, Hamilton run wide into turn 11. Although we do now wait for the cars to come back out again, which finally they are. And they're coming out on the medium tyres, some of them. Interesting stuff. Of course, you do get tyre allocations. Sonoda's the only one that's come out on the soft so far. But interesting stuff. 11 minutes 20 on the clock. As Norris took his helmet off, but putting it back on now. Qualifying head-to-head between Norris and Piastri. 7-11, or as they say in football, 11-7, sorry, to Piastri. Gap of 4 races. And Norris will want to improve on that, to say the absolute least. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda on the is the only tyre on the soft tyre, except Verstappen's on it. Let's go through medium tyres. Russell's on the mediums. Lawton's on the mediums. And I think you got to relay back to Singapore when George Russell thought the mediums were the better tyre. So maybe he's decided this weekend, nope, don't care what you say, the mediums are the better tyre, I'm going to use them. Interesting stuff. Wind moved to the east now, still 9 kilometres. Track temperature staying where it is at 4.9. Air temperature's gone up by 0.3 degrees. 0.4 degrees. It's now 30.2 degrees Celsius. Humidity's gone down 48%. Still no rain. And no rain expected for the whole weekend. So just 10 minutes to go in practice, and we're going to get some qualifying simulations now. And who's been one driver that's really impressed so far in practice? I think everyone's going to agree with me. Lewis Hamilton, he's topped the session so far. We've still got some simulations to come. Hamilton's on the mediums. Well, we'll have to see. We're on board now with Max Verstappen as he begins his lap. Driver profile, fun fact, has dual Dutch and Belgian nationalities. His favourite pastime is gaming, just like Lawson. He's pet 3 cats and a dog called Jimmy, Sassy, Donuts, and Nino. Interesting stuff. I love Sassy. That's unique. I've never heard that one before. As we go into the S's with Verstappen. Interesting stuff there. Verstappen quickest through sector 1. Russell's fastest with a 1:34.675. Lawson improves up into second, only 0.012 off. As we still look on board Verstappen, there's only a handful of cars on the mediums, and that does include Hamilton. Leclerc's had issues. What happened? Can I shift or not? 7th gear wasn't going in. We'll come back to you. There's oil smell, says Leclerc. Add that to the words of wisdom, maybe. There's oil smell. Interesting stuff. Fernando Alonso takes the fastest sector 1 off of Verstappen and puts it on himself. Round turn 19, very close to that inside curb there for Verstappen. Outside curb, bit of smoke coming up. And then round the final corner, it's a 1:33.648. That's a great time. Alonso, fastest sector 2 though. This could be even better, and it shows you how big the difference is. 1.2 between Hamilton's time and Verstappen's time. Gasly goes up to 5th on the soft tyres. 2nd off Verstappen. Around the final corner though comes Alonso. We'll go to Piastri in a second. Alonso goes fastest, 0.09 seconds quicker. Alonso's fastest. Piastri quickest through sector 2 though. Can he stop the Aston Martin party here in practice? We'll have to find out. Round turn 18 comes the McLaren of Oscar Piastri on the exit. Gets a lot of that white paint into the final corner. 20 of 20. Crossed the line. It puts him up into 3rd, 2/10 off Alonso. Not what he would have wanted there. I think it was the 1st and 3rd sectors that really let him down there. As we look on board Lando Norris's car. As he starts his time, Hadjar improves up into 9th. Lando Norris is on the soft tyre currently, and a tyre age of 1 lap. Interesting stuff. 6 minutes left of practice here in the States before that does it fully for practice, and it's straight to sprint qualifying for the sprint tomorrow, which is on 30 minutes earlier than the start of this practice session tomorrow. So British time, that's 6 p.m. Sprint start tomorrow. Norris, we are looking at the McLaren now. Down the straight, Hulkenberg goes up into 3rd on the soft tyres. Interesting stuff. Norris now with the McLaren. Angles it in as we go now through sector 3. Quickest sector 2 of all. Purple sector 2. Only 0.057 seconds now off of Alonso's time. So it was the fastest sector 2 there for Norris. Leclerc's out of the car, and that will do it. His gearbox had issues, just like Sainz, and that has ruled him out, Leclerc, for the rest of this session. There is only 5 minutes to go, but it's probably the most important time. Norris goes quickest with a 33.294. 3/10 quicker than Alonso. 3 tenths quicker than Verstappen as well. Let's go on board Leclerc's car. I want to listen in. Oh, it was going into final corner before the straight. He's not happy. Took the gloves off before he even got wheeled into the garage. To come off as he was getting wheeled into the garage. Kimi Antonelli, 2.8 seconds the gap to the leader. That time was set on the hard tyre. He has now changed his tyres to the mediums, so it should be a lot better this time round. Love how you can see on the live timing leaderboard. Look at all those blue cars together from Lawson to Colapinto. Interesting one there. If you are enjoying it, make sure to subscribe as we bring you all the sessions live from this weekend here in Austin. 3 minutes 30 on the clock. And we'll look at Antonelli's time, but currently the top... let's go through the times currently. Norris, Alonso, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Piastri, Hamilton, Behrman, Ocon, Bortoletto, Tsunoda, Stroll, Russell, Lawson, Gasly, Hadjar, Colapinto, Sainz, Leclerc, Antonelli and Albon. And, oh my god, they've just left the coverage on Sky Sports main event. It's a disaster. So, let's quickly get that back on. We were watching that very intensely and they decided, you know what, let's turn it off. It's reached past. They've had enough of us. So, we'll switch our way of watching, and in fact we won't be able to watch that way. 3 minutes to go. Promise you we will get it back on very shortly. We do have it on the screen, but kind of want to visually watch it so you can describe what's going on. Do we get it back? Yes, we do. So we're on board with Antonelli down the straight. He does come into turn 12 now. And we'll just look at the G-force through the braking here. Have the DRS open. Turn 12 now. Never mind, we won't be able... It was 5.1 from what I saw. But that was really it. As 9 tenths off through sector 2 of Norris's time. Now, around turn 15. Oh, a bit wide. No, he's alright through there. It looked like he braked a bit later than he probably should have. But not rescue it, managed to save it in the end. And he went wide. Final corner 19. And that will do it. I reckon the lap time will be deleted. If it's not, it's in 16th anyway. It's not that bad. Not that good. 1.4 off. Over to Russell now as he goes around turns 15 and about to go into 14 now. As actually the live timing is ahead of us, so I won't look at it. Oh, as Russell goes a little bit wide as well. As he goes around the final corner, still a bit wide, crossed the line, 7th for Russell, 0.637 off of Norris's time in first. So 60 seconds to go, and that, I believe, really should be it for this session. There'll be drivers coming off, practice starts now, but it looks to be it. I believe, other than a few drivers still on their laps. Yuki Tsunoda, let's have a look at him. Oh, he had a moment on the S's. Oh, that was a very, very squiggly moment. Oh, and the amount of times he had to save that wheel was not good at all. Shouldn't really have to do it that much, but in the end, did. So interesting stuff. Just coming into the last few seconds, and the checker flag's about to come out, and Hülkenberg will start a lap just in time in this session. Last driver to take the flag. No, yeah. Oh, Verstappen. I have to box. The car bottoms out way too aggressive. Verstappen, so we're staying out for the checker flag, Max. That's what his engineer says. So we'll see what Verstappen does here. Does he spay team orders or does he come in? No, he stays out. For the checkered flag, Hamilton didn't know what he was doing, he slowed down. So the checkered flag is out. Great flag waving, you gotta say. From the marshal there doing the waving. See Gianpiero Lambiase. As we'll go back to Hulkenberg. We saw him start his lap. Now we're going to see him get to the end of it. As round turn 15 he comes. And we'll see where he can potentially put it. Will it be good? Will it be bad? Purple sector 2. The track evolution, have they timed this perfectly, Sauber? Let's see. Final corner now. Hulkenberg crossed the line. Oh, he's second fastest. So close. 2/10 off Norris's best time. I think as F1 fans we were all secretly hoping he could pull something off there. But that will do it. For practice, there's still a few drivers to take the flag. 2 drivers actually, Albon and Piastri. But I don't think they're on laps. We'll see. Albon will cross the line. No, not on the lap. And Piastri crossing the line, not on the lap either. So that makes the results clear then. Norris finished P1, Hulkenberg second, Piastri third, Alonso fourth, Verstappen fifth, Albon sixth, Russell seventh, Hamilton eighth, Hadjar ninth, 10th for Behrman, 11th for Ocon, 12th for Bortoletto, 13th for Tsunoda, 14th for Stroll, 15th Lawson, 16th Colapinto, 17th Gasly, 18th Antonelli, 19th Sainz, and 20th Leclerc. They'll do their practice starts, but as they go round, let's tell you what is coming up live on FT Sport this weekend. So we've had practice. Sprint quali's next for us. Our coverage begins at 10:25. The 10:30 start. The sprint tomorrow starts at 6. Our coverage begins from 5:45 p.m. And then business end of stuff. Qualifying for the race 9:55 Saturday and Sunday. 8 p.m. race start. 7:45 p.m. race start coverage. NFL, we've already had the Bengals versus Steelers, the 49ers versus Falcons, the next one up, Monday, 1 a.m. for that one. One NHL game, Mammoth versus Sharks, that's tonight at 2 a.m. EFL Championship up next here on FT Sport, Middlesbrough versus Ipswich, kick-off at 8. And in the Premier League, you've got to wait until Monday for that, West Ham versus Brentford, 8 p.m. kick-off, 7:45, coverage begins. And then starting Tuesday, the NBA regular season. Well, there we have it. It's Hulkenberg who's up there. But it's a very, very interesting start. The McLaren's first and third, split by a Sauber. Thank you for watching. This has been coverage of FP1, the only practice session from the United States Grand Prix. And if you are watching us on FT Sport, which you all are, make sure you switch over to our coverage of the EFL Championship that begins very shortly. But for now, from Austin, Texas, goodbye. Thank you for watching.
It's so